And we came up with a lot of things that I like to call principles of nutrition.
Oh, I can't wait to hear these.
Yeah, I taught nutrition in the traditional way, at a major university, in Cornell University, if you will, and biochemistry. I taught those topics in a fairly traditional way. But with the passing of time, I got a somewhat different view.
What's the different view? What did you find out?
Well, in the early days, and still for many people, the principal nutrient that more or less defines our diet is protein, the nutrient protein. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, people tend to think protein is the same thing as meat, because they think protein is only found in animal foods like meat, dairy, and eggs. Unfortunately, that's not true. Yes, those animal foods are rich in protein, a certain kind of protein, but protein is also present in plants. And we can get all the protein we need from plants, if I can jump ahead.
Yes.
So, the early days, it was my interest, my research was focused on that, but then we learned fairly quickly we could turn on and turn off experimental cancer by just adjusting the level of protein within normal limits.
So you were saying that you could turn on and turn off the cancer genes?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Cancer takes a while to fully develop. It starts out with essentially a mutation that's caused usually by a chemical that's called a carcinogen. And so we get exposed to these kind of chemicals, obviously, on a fairly routine basis, but our bodies under normal conditions can handle that problem fairly easily. But the high protein diet basically sort of catalyzes a much higher activity of those carcinogens and therefore stimulates the production of cancer. And so when we feed protein at the higher level, we get a faster rate of cancer development. And then if we switch the diet to a lower level of protein, enough to meet the needs for protein, the cancer stops growing. We give it back again and we turn it back on again. That whole idea of turning cancer on and off was, it really is revolutionary, I have to say, because in those days and still today, most people think cancer is caused only by genes or only by the chemicals in our food or maybe by viruses, if you will. And when in reality, cancer is mostly controlled by the kind of nutrients that we consume. And not just one, like protein, but all the other nutrients that come along with the consumption of animal-based protein. And on that point, I ought to say, too, that it's animal protein that turned on to cancer, not plant protein.
Oh.